All right. Now we'll be moving to a tutorial exercise from 2019. And yeah, we'll just briefly go over it. So we need to understand the different concepts of comparative and absolute advantages, right? So we have a chart which illustrates the number of hours of labor, number of labor hours used to produce maize and cloth in South Africa and India, respectively, and the different commodities are indicated on the different axes, and the lines represent the countries. So based on the information illustrated by the above chart, which of the following is correct? The answer is A. India has an absolute advantage in both products. So please do note how one finds absolute and comparative advantages. So knowing those particular concepts should inform you of why the answer is A, why India has an absolute advantage. As you can see, it takes a lot less time for India to produce cloth and maize, So the quicker it is, or the more efficient it is to produce a good, the better. If you can produce more goods in a shorter space of time, it works in your favor, which is why they have absolute advantage. So please understand it like that. Cool. So now we're going to move on to the next question. The price ratios in Otaki are. So first and foremost, you need to know how to calculate Otaki price ratios. You just need to pay attention to the different figures there for the different countries. So you have the following options from A to E. So these are your options. Then we'll reveal the answer in a moment, which is E. Options B and D. So these are the answers for the different countries. So you have that for country 1, which is South Africa, and country 2, which is India. So you should know how to calculate this, and you should be able to seal the deal there. Right. Then we're going to move on to the next one. So if both countries decide to get into trade, where will the terms of trade range in the market of maize and in the market of cloth? So you need to know where exactly the markets fall, right? Like where exactly will they benefit and how exactly will they get into trade? So you have the following options. You need to consider where both countries will stand based on the options above, and also know what's right, what's wrong. Look at what you've calculated, look at what you have here. Then your answer, E, options A and D. So you have 0.89 yards of cloth and 1.2 of maize. Well, as per the ratio here, cloth, market of maize. So 1.2 cloth for market of maize. Then for D, this is what you have. So A and D are your answers. Right. Then according to the labor theory of value, look at how theory is a common theme in the questions. So this is what you need to look out for as well. You have the following options, A, B, C, D, E. And you can just pause, think about it. What do you think the answer could be? Also note that there is, what's this? There's a chapter that you need to refer to. It's on the first page of the tutorial. So please look for that. The answer is C. The price of a good A compared to the price of good B bears the same relationship as the relative amounts of labor used in producing each good. So please pay attention to the labor theory of value right there. Right. Then if the demand for traded goods is price inelastic, the price specie flow mechanism, very important. Please pay attention to this concept. It might come up as like a long, short question, a long question, a short question. Just watch out for this. Know what this means. The price specie flow mechanism. Okay, cool. You have the following options. You can just pause and reflect. Right. The answer here is C. Gold movements between countries that worsen trade deficits and surpluses. So you need to know what the consequences are. You need to know what this means. What exactly is, what happens when a good is price inelastic, So for example, bread is price inelastic. If it goes up by like, let's say, there's right now it's like 16 rand. So let's say it's 20 rand, you'd still buy it, you know. But if it was like a chocolate that goes up, you don't really need a chocolate. It's price elastic. You get what I'm saying? So be able to know the definitions. It's important to know the definitions of everything that you come across, not just in trade, not just in metrics, any subject that you're doing, so that way you know what to face. So which of the following statements relate to Ricardo's theory? C, horizontal supply curve. Although these are short questions, just know exactly what to do when you're faced with long questions. Like, know what the different theories entail, make it a really creative study process. Like, look at how my previous videos spoke to the product cycle theory, and I just broke it down, you know. So be able to break down the different theories for the exam. Cool. Then section B, it's a bit more comprehensive. Okay, I didn't expect that. So that's the end of the MCQs. So here you're supposed to calculate, give the, just calculate and provide answers, apply yourself in these questions. So you have this scenario where you have South Africa and Zambia and the following products: oil, liters of oil, and the number of cars, right? So assume that South Africa only has 2,000 units of, or 2,000 hours rather, of labor available in Zimbabwe. Okay, there's a confusion. Let's just go with Zambia, whichever one, but let's just maintain that, you know, we're speaking of the same country. There's just a mistake on the paper. So Zambia, let's go with Zambia, has 9,000 hours of labor available. And then the pre-trade production of both countries are as follows. And then the theories presented above are as follows. Comparative advantage, where one country can produce both products more effectively and more cheaply than the other country, and the country has an absolute advantage in both. So these are the theories and assumptions. So the assumptions are 2 countries and 2 products. Then when you identify the price ratio in Otaki, this is what you should have. Being able to calculate the Otaki price ratios are quite a common theme in trade. So knowing how to calculate the Otaki price ratios are fundamental. So you should have calculated for both South Africa and Zambia. Cool. Then the next question, which country has a comparative advantage in oil production? South Africa, for the following reasons. Its opportunity cost of producing oil in SA is 1 liter of oil, or 1 oil, 3 cars, and it's lower than the Zambian opportunity cost, which is 1 oil, 5 cars. Therefore, South Africa has a relative or comparative advantage in oil, right? Then Zambia would have a comparative advantage in car production. This is because the opportunity cost of producing a car in Zambia is 1 car and 1/3 liters of oil, and that's lower than the South African opportunity cost. So as a result, Zambia has a relative advantage in cars. So you see how this works. Just pay attention to the pattern that's applied here to give yourself a full explanation. And in this type of question would be like 4 or 5 marks in the exam. Yeah. Then in addition to the above information, you are supposed to proceed and say after the trade, and then deal with what's happening after the trade. How many liters of oil will South Africa have consumed when they exchange 100 liters of oil for 23 cars, or in the event that both countries do not alter their production? So the difference between what is produced at home and what is exported should give you your answer of 50 liters of oil, right? So just refer back to what was being given here, the pre-trade production. And also note that production was not altered. So exchange versus production. Then you should be sorted. Then after the trade, how many cars would SA have consumed? Show your calculations, right? So like I said, just pay attention to the detail, everything that's there, all the information that's there at your disposal, right? So 73 cars for the following reasons. There are 50 that are produced at home and 23 that are imported. Remember, we're talking about exchange. So 23 cars are coming in. You add to what was given earlier. 50 cars plus 23 cars, 73 cars. There you go. And after the trade, how many liters of oil would Zambia, let's go with Zambia, have consumed? 320 for the following reasons. They imported 100 liters of oil from SA and they had 220 liters of oil, right? And then I'm sure the next question's about cars. Yeah, there we go. I was right. So 700 produced at home minus the 23 exported to SA, 677. Pretty straightforward. Then, did the trade benefit both countries? Explain fully. No. Why? This is why. Only one country benefited from this trade, and that is Zambia. And then the post-trade combination was as follows. You do the mathematics in terms of the number of hours. So you already have the hours there. You just do the multiplications and state why Zambia benefited. And then you just say the 892 is way less than the 2000 hours SA has to produce in terms of the combination that is provided. Then look at the post-trade combination and then conclude right there. All right. You see what I meant when I said just pay attention to the price BC flow mechanism. It is quite relevant to how trade works. Not just in terms of applying questions, but then in a more expansive context where you are required to, like I said, if this price BC flow mechanism comes up as a short question, you should be able to know what it means and how you are able to define it. It's not something that you'll find in the dictionary, because I know in exams you'll be given like the Oxford Dictionary. So it's important for you to be able to break down these different theories. Then the last question spoke to the use of, or using the table to draw South Africa's PPF, and then you're supposed to use the required information, right? And this is how it would look. All right, I'll leave that there. And all should be well.